commenters, my comments, my commentees. Right. Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. This is a very exciting video. This is a review of the DeWalt 7492 table saw. I may screw up and say 942 because for some reason I just do that, but it's going to be a mix of talking head and it's going to be clips of the saw itself. So grab a Coke, grab a beer, and sit on down and listen to this. So I was originally going to do this video going over the stats, saying, oh, it comes with a 2000 watt motor, or I think there was a 1500 watt motor, but I'm going to do this review from my point of view. So the question I asked myself first is, why the DeWalt 7492 table saw? Well, I wanted to buy the best table saw I possibly could, but I also wanted to buy a table saw that came with a rack and pinion fence, so that limited my table saw purchase to pretty much DeWalt, because the Skill table saw isn't sold over in the UK, and I think if it was, I would have went with the Skill table saw. But that is a video for that's a topic for another video, I should say. So I was looking at the corded table saws. I was not really interested in the battery version because at the moment my battery is Ryobi, so I didn't want to interfere with DeWalt's battery style tools as well. Rather than I'll stick with Ryobi, but their table saw wasn't a rack and pinion fence either, so that eliminated that. But plus, corded I think is just better, because corded is better for my purpose because I'm using it in the garage. I'm not a trade professional. I'm not taking it out onto a table site. I don't need to plug it into a generator, where cordless table saws may be better. But this table saw is perfect for me because it was probably the max range I would want to spend on a table saw. It was about £790 from Howie's Tools. The cheaper table saw, the 1/4 inch one, I think you can't get the blades for it that readily, so when I do want to change a blade, I think my 10-inch blade on the 7492 table saw is a lot more readily available. But a big selling point with this for me was the rack and pinion fence, and it was probably the higher price that I wanted to pay for a table saw, especially it being my first table saw. Obviously everyone would like a cabinet style table saw like the SawStop, but it's just not possible, and even if I had enough money to afford that, my setup at the moment is a no-go basically. So equipment that you get with the table saw itself, you get a 24 to 10-inch blade, you get a miter gauge, you get a blade guard with a dust extraction port on it, you get a dust extractor for the back that you can connect your dust extraction, which will connect into your sander in, so you don't need to find like a really big hose for that. You also get the 2 spanners so that when you want to change the blades, you've got that as well, and the miter gauge, if I haven't said that already, and the miter gauge itself, it's a wee bit wobbly on the saw, but I believe that's the situation with all branded table saws for our price range that we're talking about here. But I've generally had no problems. It's something that I will look into upgrading later and probably spend a wee bit of money on, but at the moment I am happy with it, and I've changed the angles, I've mucked about with it, and yes, I'm happy. The blade itself, you can angle up to 45 degrees. As far as I'm aware, it has came accurate from the shop, but I've got really no way of testing it other than using my 90-degree angle. But I do want to get one of the digital ones, and I will test that, and I will update you guys presently when I get it. The reason I went with the rack and pinion fence, and it means so important to me, is I want to try and make things square. So the measurements on it, you can rip things up to 34.2 inches. That could be off by a few inches. So for me, I got this to be more accurate to make more accurate cuts. I'm now trying to make a a box where I've beveled the cuts so that you can they fit into each other rather than just being rabbited on, or rebated on I should say, because I'm from the UK. I just like saying rabbited on because, well, it's rabbits, you know, funny. So I'm trying that, but because I've got the actual measurement on the racking pinion fence is more accurate for me being a bit of a novice at measuring and stuff like that. I know it's a bit simple, but it just makes me feel I've got more control of my cuts, and yeah, I think it's fantastic value for money if you can afford it. If you can't afford it, I would highly recommend going for the cheaper 1/4 inch one, because that, as I said, comes with a racking pinion fence. I've said that phrase so many times, it's unreal. But I can't stress you enough, the racking pinion fence is a game changer, because I'm not sure if I've said this in the video before because I'm rambling, the Pro Evolution table saw I would have went with if it had a racking pinion fence, because it came with a slide table, slightly bit more complicated to assemble out of box because you needed to build it, but it did come with a stand, which this table saw can come without one, but Howie's Tools sent me one because I went with the higher grade model, so that there's that to take into account. But the fence on the Pro Evolution was one where you had to like literally push and click kind of thing, and I've seen some reviews where it wasn't square even when you done that, so you had to like edit it. So I was thinking to myself, I'm never going to get this square, and whatever I perceive as square, it's not going to be square. You get where I'm going with this, don't you? But I've had no complaints so far. I think there's been a wee bit of rust forming on it, but I've just put some lubricant on it and wiped it straight off, and that's fine. But I think that's from that's where I'm storing it in the garage, so that's obviously playing a high factor in moisture. But apart from that, I've had zero complaints about this table saw. It's absolutely amazing. I've not changed the blade that it came with. It came well, to me it came square out of the shop, but I'll need to double check that obviously. But it's highly recommended by me, and I'm sure many other people as well. If you hit that like button, you'll get 10 now. If you did enjoy this video, hit that like button and subscribe down below. I've now got 245 subscribers, so I'm on my way to 250 and hopefully 500 and then 1,000 and so on and so on and so on. It's fantastic. Thank you for all the support. Leave a comment down below. I always try and get back to my comments and my commenters, my comments, my commentees. Right, hit the subscribe button, comment, like. See you next video. Bye.